We hope you've been enjoying our Round the World Recipes series from Cooking Company. Today we're going to show you how to make wonderful dishes, including the classic American Frankie wrap with an Indian twist. We're going to take you all the way to Mumbai. We hope you like it hot. Then we're going to jet on over to Europe, where we'll visit Italy to make a quirky version of the Italian classic lasagna. And then on to Spain for some fantastic, simple, cost-effective and quick-to-make chicken recipes. So, let's get started. First up, we're going to take you to Mumbai. We're going to show you how to do a classic American Frankie, Indian style. That's right. So you get your chicken breast, you chop it up without skin, without bone, and you add your basic ingredients. A really important part of this recipe, I'll just tell you, is vinegar. Vinegar plays an important role not only in really tarting up the flavour, really tanging it up, but vinegar also helps to open the pores of the meat and allow all that lovely flavour in, which you'll see in a minute when we show you the spice mixture we're going to make. It also helps to soften the meat, because chicken can actually sometimes be chewy. It might not be chewy over here in the West, but if you go over to the East, if you go to Asia, where the chicken is fresh and there's no water being put in it to soften it like they do in the supermarkets here, so it's actually quite chewy, you wouldn't believe, but it is. So vinegar plays a really vital role. And if you don't really fancy the idea of vinegar, you can always use healthier alternatives. You can use apple cider vinegar, but not too much. Or a very good option is lemon. If you want it to be a bit creamy and you don't mind a bit of dairy, you can add yogurt. Yogurt also helps to open the pores, soften the meat and allow all that lovely flavour in. So we've added our spice mixture to the chicken, which we've just fried over with our basic curry base, which is onions, garlic and very often gin. And you can just buy garlic ginger paste from the supermarket to make it way quicker. If you're feeling lazy, you can even buy ready chopped chicken. So lots of spices have gone in there, lots and lots of different spices. Now, garam masala means warm spice mix. Warm is garam and spice mix masala, which is basically black pepper, cloves, cumin seeds, coriander seeds, and sometimes cardamom pods or even cinnamon. We like to add a bit of fresh herb on there too. Coriander goes fantastically well with this. Now we're going to show you how to make the famous Frankie masala. So this is for the Mumbai style Frankie. Frankie, by the way, if you don't already know, is basically a wrap with some kind of filling, in this case chicken. You can use tortilla for the wrap, make your own flatbread, chapati, roti, or you could make paratha, which is a fantastically delicious fried round flatbread. Now, some fantastic spices have gone into our Frankie spice mixture, including pomegranate seed powder, mango powder. You may have to go to a specialist store. Now, if you're not sure exactly what the difference between curd and yogurt is, there is a difference in the process of making it. Curd, also known as dahi, is a dairy product, but it's made by curdling milk with edible acidic substances like lemon juice, vinegar, there you go, there's a vinegar again, or even curd itself. Yogurt, on the other hand, is created using bacterial fermentation of milk. So this is a gorgeous fried roti or paratha. They're actually very easy to make. We're adding some egg onto that, get a nice bit of protein in there. 50 grams of egg is pretty much one egg. Now, if you're a vegetarian, you can make egg wraps. Make some very interesting omelettes with all your spices in. Ginger is actually very good in omelettes. It sounds crazy, but it really works. So we're making a wonderful sauce, which is going to be super tangy. Imli is actually tamarind, which is a fruit, and it's very, very tart in flavour, very, very tangy. And if you get a bit of tamarind and you stick it in the grinder with lemon juice and mint and chilli, it's really going to be delicious. It's going to tickle your taste buds like crazy. There goes that vinegar again. So So what you add to this really depends on how spicy you like your food to be and how strong you want your flavours to be and where do you want to go. We're going to Mumbai at the moment, but you can also add a different twist to it, which we'll show you in a minute. You can always make your chutney without chilli. You can always make your chicken without chilli. You don't have to make it spicy if you don't like it too hot. A good way of wrapping these is to fold up the bottom first and then roll it along, or you can fold the bottom as you go. So now we're going to take you to China for Sichuan chicken. We're just using a bit of Sichuan sauce. Adding our chicken filling, the same chicken filling. So it's a mixture of different Asian flavours in this one. Fantastic. And look at those colours. Your Frankie masala there. Loads and loads of different spices gone into that. Masala is basically just powdered spices. It's a really good idea to make your own as well. If you make your own by dry frying the whole spices and then putting them in a spice grinder or crushing them in a mortar and pestle, they'll last for a while if you keep them in an airtight jar. And it's really good to make your own because the flavours will be strong and you know exactly what's going in it. So be creative with your spice mixtures, even herbs, chutneys, sauces. So to this one we're adding cheese. You can choose any cheese you like, and if you want healthy options, again, there are always alternatives. So there you go, 3 different variations of the wonderful Mumbai Frankie, and you can just go crazy with this. Imagine how many different combinations you could make, and I'm sure that they will all be absolutely delicious. And now we're going to take you on over to Italy to show you a twist on the classic lasagna. If any of you have ever tried making a lasagna, it's actually easier than it looks. Although you do have to do a bit of layering work, it's kind of therapeutic. You just have to make your white sauce, you make your meat base with your tomato sauce, and then you just use your lasagna pasta sheets. But this one has an extra layer, a little bit of a different than your traditional lasagna. So we're just making our meat base using beef. If you've got lean mince, it'll be nice and soft. With beef, sometimes you need to cook it for quite a long time to make sure that the meat softens and isn't chewy. Adding your Italian spices, oregano, or whatever you prefer. Bay leaves is a nice twist. If you add those in at the end, it would just give a little kick of extra flavour there. A little bit of cream too we added to make it slightly creamy. Now, if you're a vegetarian, you can always use corn mince. You can also do vegetarian lasagna. You don't need to use any meat or meat substitute. Vegetables like carrots, sweet potatoes, butternut squash, zucchini, they all work really well with this kind of recipe. So we're making our white sauce with a twist. We're thickening it up using flour, and we're also going to use lots and lots of milk and cheese. And as you can see, loads of chili's gone into that too. We're using jalapeno chilies. You can use green or red. We've chosen green. Or just leave them out if you don't like it spicy. We're using 3 different types of cheese here. The more, the better. Use your favourite ones. Even blue cheese if you want it to be really strong. So we've cooked some macaroni pasta and we just add that in too. So our white sauce is not just a white sauce, it's a super extra cheesy white sauce with macaroni mixed into it. It's basically macaroni cheese. The fun part is now we are layering. The meat goes on first, then your lasagna pasta sheets. You can get those easy cook lasagna sheets where you don't have to pre-boil them, but you can just stick it straight in the oven from raw. Our macaroni cheese layer is going to be absolutely lush. So you could add some fresh herbs into this mixture too. If you don't want the chili, you could just add spring onion or something else. Layer and layer and layer again. Top it off with cheese, whatever cheese you prefer. And then you stick it in the oven. The great thing about this is if you have any leftovers, say you have some meat left over, you could use that to make spaghetti bolognese the next day. If you have some macaroni and cheese left over, then that would be a great meal for the kids tomorrow night. And as quick as that, it's ready. Sizzling hot out of the oven. There you have it, an absolutely gorgeous macaroni cheese lasagna. So don't be afraid to add your own special twist to give it a personal stamp on traditional recipes. You can end up with something really fantastic, which might end up really taking off too. Served on a plate, ready to dig in. Super fulfilling and satisfying. Yum! Now we're going to take you on over to Spain and show you how to make pollo al ajillo. It is a classic Spanish recipe using the cheapest cuts of meat like chicken thighs, chicken drumsticks. You could just leave the skin on if you want or take it off however you prefer. It's basically cooked with loads and loads and loads of garlic. It's chicken in a garlic sauce. So a good way to start these recipes is always to put your whole spices or herbs in first. So we shoved in the garlic. We didn't even bother taking the skin off. You can just leave it on. Just throw it there in the butter or oil if you want to be a bit healthier. And then brown your chicken. Add in loads more garlic, which has been peeled and chopped this time. So garlic and then more garlic. Beef up the sauce a bit, make it thick with a bit of flour. And this recipe uses white wine, but you don't have to use white wine. You could just use a bit of chicken stock or water even a bit of cream or milk would be fine too. So pollo is Spanish for chicken. Ajillo. It actually comes from the Andalusian region, but it's enjoyed all over Spain. Cooked on a stove, you can roast it in the oven too if you want. But garlic is the main player in this recipe. You can also add in hot pepper, paprika, vinegar. We added lots of lemon in this, again to open the pores of the meat, get that flavour in. Served with potatoes and a little bit of coriander, it's just perfect. Chuck a few veggies in there and Bob's your uncle. As with all these recipes, you could change up the meat, you could even do it with fish, or just make it vegetarian. Next, we're going to show you how to make baked chicken Parmesan. Super easy, super tasty. You just get some breadcrumbs and then you flavour them with herbs, spices, salt, pepper, cheese. We've used some Parmesan cheese. We're using fresh herbs and dried herbs. Just make it as flavoursome as you like. Crack a couple of eggs, stick your chicken in them. Egg is really useful for just keeping the breadcrumbs on. If you don't want to use egg, you could always use something else like milk and a bit of corn flour, cornstarch to help it stick on. Add a gallon more cheese on there, stick it in the oven. It's really easy to make. It's a fantastic snack. You could even have it in a wrap or a burger or just on a bed of rice or pasta, spaghetti. Crispy and delicious. Add a bit of bolognese tomato sauce on top. You can easily make fresh basil and tomato sauce. Very easy to make. There you go. Served like a pro. And I bet it tastes fantastic too. Yummy. Right, now back to Spain for some Pollo Guisado. Well, we say Spain, but actually it's also a very popular dish in Latin America. So that's North, Central and South America, from Mexico all the way down to Brazil. Again, using cuts of meat like chicken thighs, drumsticks and wings. Skin on if you want, no problem. This is basically a stew cooked with chicken and loads of vegetables. It's one of those meals that you can really just knock up out of whatever is just lying around in your fridge. a bit of garlic, a bit of celery, a bit of onion, a bit of peppers, a bit of carrot, some tomato, and then, your seasoning, whatever herbs or spices you like. Add your own twist to it. And you just layer it in a pot. You can cook it in a slow cooker and just leave it on for a long time, and it'll just be so tasty when it's done. So that's it. You just leave it to cook. Add some water. With these kind of dishes, it's nice to just take your time, and you can just leave it on a really low flame or even in the oven for an hour or two, and it all sort of morphs into this gorgeous thick sauce, and the chicken will come out super tender too. It's great served with rice. It's really, really delicious. So, which cuisine is your favourite so far? Let us know in the comments below.